Hello there, and thank you for joining us for another installment of the KHOU 11 Superintendent Talk Series, a special discussion with area superintendents based on your responses to the annual KHOU 11 Back to School Survey. I'm Mia Gradney, joined today by Lamar Consolidated ISD Superintendent Dr. Roosevelt Nivens. Hello and congratulations are in order. I understand you won very special recognition here, Region 4 Superintendent of the Year.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am. I did. I won.
Wonderful.
It's a huge honor.
So is this more just bragging rights or is there a prize?
No prize, but it is bragging rights to show the outstanding ability of our young people in Lamar. Because, as superintendent, I stand around and I navigate and I give direction, but the people doing the work are the students and the teachers.
They helped you win the award.
Yes, they did. It's because of them. It's because of them. And so I always want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. We have phenomenal students and teachers.
That's exciting. To say you have been busy in Lamar Consolidated ISD is a bit of an understatement. There is a lot going on. You are opening up 10 new schools for the school year?
We're opening up 5 schools this August, another 4 next August. And so we have about 18 more schools by 2030.
My goodness. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Robust.
It's a lot.
But this is reflective of you keeping up with the explosive growth of the area in Lamar Consolidated.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We have a phenomenal team that does that for us. And so internal team that does that for us, that makes sure that we meet once a week and we talk about all the upcoming growth that's coming. We have a great demographer that helps us out. And so we can pretty much predict into the future what's happening. We talk to all the developers in our cities and our city council members and our mayors. And so we have a very big operation that we talk through to make sure that we stay on top of the growth.
So you said 5 schools this school year.
Yes, ma'am.
And so is that alleviating some crowding, some overpopulation at existing campuses, or is this more so accommodating new communities, new neighborhoods?
Both. So in Fulshire, actually, Fulshire is the fastest growing city in the nation. And I think it's grown by like 300% in the last 3 years, or something like that.
If you drive out there, you definitely know. I
frequent
the area.
You will see it. You will see it. And so most of the campuses are on that side of town. This is going to provide some relief, but we have a lot of new communities coming up as well. And so we're just planning for the future. And so we have 4 secondary campuses, 3 secondary campuses, 2 elementary campuses opening up.
So what should parents and more importantly students expect who are going to these new campuses?
They should expect, first off, state-of-the-art facilities, because we want to make sure that when our children walk into a building, they feel that wow factor. We want students when they walk in to say, wow, this is for me, because our kids deserve the absolute best. But also, we would like them to expect some crowding, because we can imagine the first days of school, everyone will drop their students off. As school goes on and, parents start to put their kids on the bus or whatnot. But the first week or 2, everybody will drop their students off so they can expect some crowding.
You're talking about in the car rider line.
Car rider line, yes, in the car rider line. So we can expect some crowding. And then as parents want to walk their students into the building also, we'll allow that the first day or 2. Then after that, we like to wean families off and they'll be okay. They'll be okay. Mom and Dad, they'll be okay, I promise.
We've got it. Growing fast sometimes can present some growing pains. Have there been any challenges along the way with keeping up with one of the fastest growing cities in the country?
There have been enough challenges, quite a few challenges also with that. One is making sure that everybody's on the same page, that we are here to take care of students. And sometimes you have conversations with other people that would rather build buildings, build homes, instead of helping us build schools. And so we want to make sure that everyone has the focus of taking care of young people. And so we have to have schools to take care of young people. And so one of the challenges, of course, has been crowding in several campuses. And so we opened up one of our campuses last year, All Around the Elementary. We opened it up expecting 400 students. We ended up first day 800 students.
Doubled the population.
Doubled. And students came from, we didn't see them coming. We had all of our data. And then we had an apartment complex open up that, had more students than they expected. And so, that conversation now about, now we need temporary buildings over there to help alleviate the crowding. And so what's the perception in the community about you open up a brand new building, but now you have temporary buildings? And so, making sure that we clearly communicate to our community about what's happening, what's going on, what the numbers say, what we're expecting to do, what the future looks like for us. But also, we can't do this alone. And so Lamar CISD, we support or serve 15 different municipalities. That's 15 different mayors, 15 different city councils, and a lot of 15 different communities. Yes. My goodness. And so there's a lot of conversations that have to happen in that to make sure everybody's on the same page. But the most important thing is that we're here to take care of students.
When you talk about seeing this growth and, for example, using the apartment complex, we'll refer to it, there's only so much that the district can control. You can't control necessarily a new apartment complex going up, a new master planned community going in. Is that what you were talking about when you need the community to work with the school district as well? Yes,
ma'am, that is. Because, also, so in the last legislative session, we were not successful, but we've been asking our state representatives and senators to consider different language or a different opportunity for school districts and cities. Meaning, cities, we would like for the school district to be considered critical infrastructure. And if a school district is considered critical infrastructure, that gives the city the autonomy to tell developers, well, we won't approve any plats until you have spoken to the district about what schools they need in your area. Right now, we're not considered critical infrastructure. So developers are able to build as many homes as they want, and cities really don't have the autonomy to say slow down or stop until you talk to the school district. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the areas where we need some assistance.
Educate us on what would be considered critical infrastructure, if you know, like currently what is considered critical
Hospitals, fire departments, police stations are considered critical infrastructure.
So you would like to see schools move into that same designation?
Yes, ma'am, I would, because Texas is one of the few states where we're not. Most states consider schools critical infrastructure. Mm-hmm.
It makes sense that they would be considered as such.
Yes.
It does. And how many students total will the district welcome this year?
49,000.
As opposed to last year?
As opposed to 47,000. So we are a hyper-growth school system. It's a term that's coined for Lamar CISD as hyper-growth. We're adding about 2,000 students a year. When I first started at Lamar in 2021, we were about 36,000 students. So now we're 49,000 students.
And are you seeing that growth across all different grade levels, from elementary to middle to high school as well?
Yes, it's pretty much spread out evenly. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much spread out.
Mm-hmm. Which would make sense. Now, regardless if students are returning to an old campus or if they're coming to a new campus entering this school year, they will have to adhere to a new law, a new school rule. We're talking about the personal communication devices ban, also known as, by a lot of families, the cell phone ban. This, by far, Dr. Nivens, is the biggest concern of parents area-wide, not just our Lamar CISD parents, but area-wide. And looking at the results from the KHOU 11 Back to School survey, when asked, do you support a cell phone ban? Our participants responded 52% yes, 48% no. This is interesting because this shows that it's about half and half. But as I talk to area school districts and staff, I'm hearing a lot of questions, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of messages about what this means. So I want to walk through a series of questions here to address those parent concerns that they shared with us. They want to know, what does the ban mean? What devices are we referring to? And when can they not be used?
Okay, all right. Well, first off, let me say, I tell people I never understood love until I had my own two children. And so as a dad, I completely understand where parents are coming from. And so I want to make sure all of our parents know the safety of their student is our priority. Children are supposed to come to school, have an education, and go home, right? And go home safely. And so with that being said, it is our district's priority and stance is to make sure that anytime a parent needs to reach out to their child or a child needs to reach out to their parent, that we will make that happen, free of bureaucracy and red tape and all these other things that some people may have to go through. We want to make sure that parents understand they have access to their child regardless of the cell phone ban, if you will. What that means, though, is any personal communication device. So it's not just a cell phone. It'll be a cell phone, it'll be a smartwatch, it'll be a laptop, it can be smart glasses, smart rings, whatever it is that you have where you can talk to someone else that's not right there in front of you, then that is going to be banned.
Parents want to know, can students bring these devices on campus? Can they bring their phone with them on campus?
Yes, so students can bring them on campus. The rule is the cell phone or the device has to be turned off, put away in your backpack. It can't be, in your pockets or anything like that. It has to be in your backpack or in your purse or somewhere else or in your locker, but it has to be turned off and you're not able to use it during the school day.
And that means lunchtime, in the hallways, period.
Yes, that means lunchtime in the hallways, period. And so there is no discretion with that.
So parents want to know, obviously you want children to be able to communicate with their kids. There are things like lunches that are forgotten, right? Extracurricular activities that change after school. And I know you said the district will provide a way for those kids to communicate. How so? I mean, are you anticipating a line of kids at the front office, or are we talking email? How would they be able to communicate with their parents?
It could be through any means that we have. And so if a child is in the classroom and they say, Dr. Nivens, I forgot to talk to my mom about my lunch today. Well, in my classroom, I have my own cell phone as a teacher. I have also my own device. I can email. I also have a telephone in my classroom. And so those are 3 ways right there that a teacher can allow the student to use to communicate with their parent. Everything just has to go through the school system. And so, and for parents, if a parent forgets the lunch and they want to bring it to the campus, they do that now. They can bring the lunch to the campus. They can leave it in the front office. Front office person says, hey, we have, Roosevelt's lunch here in the front office, and then Roosevelt can go get their lunch. And so, this is the first time it's happened, and there will be some growing pains, as you said earlier. There'll be some bumps and bruises. We just want to make sure everybody knows that we're going to be here to make sure students are able to communicate to their parents, regardless of the situation, especially anytime they need to. We want them to be able to do that.
So we did have a parent who asked, a Lamar CISD parent, why can't students just silence their phones, put them in their backpack, have them close by in case of an emergency? And I think that's where a lot of the concern is with an emergency.
Yes. So 2/3 of that is correct. They can have their phone close by, and they can communicate with their parents via emergency. The cell phone has to be off. That's part of state law. The cell phone has to be off, but it can be on their person or not on their person. It can be in their backpack or in their locker. So they can keep it close by if it's in their backpack, but the cell phone has to be off.
Has to be off.
Yes.
Once they enter that school, it has to be off. As soon as the school day is over, they can turn the phone back on.
As soon as the school day is over, they can turn it back on and call whomever they need to call, because we want to make sure that they have access.
I think you said something that's so important. This isn't a Lamar CISD rule. This is a state law, and the district therefore has to carry it out. Yes.
Lamar CISD will always follow state laws and policies, and our policies our school boards that our school board creates.
So with all these questions that we've had, there is, it is new. And it takes time to adjust, just like we were talking about with the start of school at a new school and the car rider line and getting kids on buses. There's an adjustment period. What about with the cell phone ban? Is there an adjustment period? Will there be any leniency if someone is caught with their cell phone or their laptop?
Yes, sure. There will be some leniency. There will be a grace period, if you will. We understand, we're still working with children. And children do what children do, right? That's why we have adults there to help navigate and to help guide them as they make decisions. And so there will be particular times where students will, forget that they're not supposed to have their devices out, and so we'll gently remind them the first few times. But after that, it will be a graduated approach to making sure that students understand the expectation, and parents understand the expectation, and our staff understands the expectation. This is a law that we will follow, and we will follow it to the best of our ability. But there is some grace period built in to make sure everybody understands, and we give people time to get acclimated.
What does enforcement or the code of conduct look like around it? Has that been ironed out yet? I know a lot of districts were still working on what those rules would look like.
Yes, we're still ironing out ours. Ours will be approved actually on August 12th, the second day of school. This has been kind of rushed. The state legislature's finished. School starts right around the corner, so it's been kind of rushed. And so that's why there'll be a little grace period also, to make sure everybody gets the information and they understand what the expectations are.
In some ways, that's good. Everybody can get a little acclimated, because this is something for teachers too, right? Something else that they have to enforce and oversee.
That's correct. That's correct. And we just want everybody to understand, Lamar CISD is an elite school system. We want to be the best of the best, and we're going to be the best of the best. We're close to that now. But we want to make sure that our students understand we need a safe and distraction-free learning environment. A safe and distraction-free learning environment. Once we have that and we can get that, then the sky will be the limit for Lamar CISD.
All of these questions about being in touch with my child and personal communication devices, phones, a lot of it was associated with safety for their children. So we had some questions about safety. Parents want to know if there have been any security upgrades that the district has carried out since last school year.
Sure, there have been some security upgrades, some that I'm able to talk about publicly, some I'm not. But recently we have decided to install state-of-the-art metal detectors at all of our high schools. And so it's a seamless system. I'm sure you've seen it. You just walk through, there's an iPad right there. It lets you know if anyone has anything on their person they should not have. Other than that, if not, they just keep moving. And so we wanted to make it seamless so students can get into the building swiftly. But we have decided to institute metal detectors at all of our high schools, and those are actually being installed right now. And so we sent out a letter to all of our community members, all of our parents last week, so they can understand what's happening and what's going on. But that's one of the major security upgrades that we have installed since last year.
And do you have enough officers? How are officers that outlook on each campus? Do you have officers at every campus or certain campuses?
Yes, ma'am. So every one of our campuses has a fully commissioned officer. And so our police chief, Chief Garcia, has made sure of that. And so this is his second year in our school system. And so when he started with us, the mandate for us to have an officer at every campus came before Governor Abbott signed it into law. My school board came to me a couple of years ago and said, hey, Dr. Nivens, we'd like to have an officer at every campus. And so can you work the budget to make that happen? And so a year or two before the state said that to happen, we started on that plan. And so by the time the state asked for it to happen, we had already had an officer on every campus. So all of our campuses have an officer.
So Lamar CISD was ahead there.
Yes,
so
ma'am. Yes,
wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's shift the conversation back to the classroom now and testing. We asked parents who participated in the back to school survey about the STAR test as well. We asked, do you think the STAR test should be eliminated? 80% said yes, while 20% said no. What do you make of their response here about the STAR test?
Well, I would tell you the STAR test is a high stakes test. And we have some students who struggle with anxiety because of the high stakes. You know, if you don't pass, you don't graduate, basically is the issue with that, or you don't advance to the next grade level. So I completely understand that. Doing away with the STAR test is, to me, it doesn't really matter. There will be some form of accountability that we will have to abide by. And I believe in accountability. I believe that, you know, if parents are sending their child to my school system, that child needs to come away with evidence that they have learned, and they have learned at a high level. And so however the state decides to do that, I'm fine with. But if the state decides to do away with the STAR test, we will have our own way that we can assess and make sure that we are accountable to make sure that we are teaching every student at a high level.
What is the best measure of a student's success, that is, and how do you ensure that they are college ready or career ready?
So every student is different, and so every student some students do well with an exam, a handwritten exam. Some students do well with acting out what they've learned. Some students do better with creating a portfolio. And so you know, it's really up to us to tailor the educational experience for each individual child. You know, the cookie cutter method, we shouldn't, you know, school has to look differently. We have to do school different. You know, when I started, school still looked like it did when I was in school. And that's not the case. This generation is very different. So school has to be different. So how can we tailor lessons and assessments to each individual child's ability? And then we can give them that assessment, however that looks, to see if they've mastered the content or not.
Do you think part of that includes integrating technology? You know, there's been talk of AI, and it's being widely used in the workplace. What about at the school level too, technology as tools and resources for students?
Yes, so we are, the Lamar CISD is we are a model school district for blended learning, meaning how do we integrate technology into our daily instruction? We're one of the best school systems in the state that does that, so much so that people come visit us for that. And so the technology ban has taken us back a little bit, but it won't stop us from helping kids. It won't stop us. We just have to figure out a different way to do it. When you talk about AI, you know, I'm a firm believer in AI. AI is now, and it's definitely going to be the future. So it's our job to help students learn how to use it responsibly.
That is the
How
key.
to use it responsibly, because they're going to have to use it. They're going to have to use it, and I think it will be educational malpractice if we allow students to leave our school system and not understand the responsible way to use technology and AI.
We talk about career readiness. That's part of it,
That's right.
Being technologically savvy.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
yes.
right.
So the school year is about to start. It'll be fast and furious, but what are your hopes for students and staff as well this school year?
That's a great question. You may not have heard this before, but when students walk into Lamar CISD, their last name becomes Nivens.
No, I have not heard that before.
Their last name becomes Nivens, meaning if they're hungry, we're going to feed them. If you need someone to talk to because last night was just a rough night, and before we can teach you math, we have to understand where you are in your headspace. We want to give all those support systems and services to our young people. I want our children to know that first off, their school system loves them, that we're going to take care of them, we're going to hold them accountable, but I also want my students to know that we want you to be the absolute best. We want you that when you graduate from the Lamar CISD, that you walk into the world, that you're prepared, you're ready, you're going to be a young, responsible, productive, law-abiding citizen that knows how to navigate the world correctly. And so we have some systems in place and some programs in place that we're doing that to help students know when they graduate, we want you to be successful. I want that when somebody says they graduated from the Lamar CISD, it's like, you know what, I want to hire you, or I want to give you this loan to start your own business because of where you came from. And we know what that system did for you.
When you said their last name becomes Nivens, you mean that really they become family.
That's right.
And you are vested in them.
That's right. That's right. I want to take care of them like I take care of my own 2 children.
What about your staff, the teachers? Because we know they work so hard and they have to contend with and juggle so much now, everything from the personal communication devices ban to making sure that students are academically successful as well. What's your message to them this school year?
To my staff is same thing with my students. You know, everyone that chooses this path, you know, you have a purpose in life, and that purpose is to speak life into other people and to help other people and be a servant leader. And so I want my teachers to know that their superintendent loves them as well. I pray for them every day. But the teacher shortage is real, and there's a reason for the teacher shortage. And I want my teachers to know that we are here to support you in everything that you do because you're living out your life goals. And so we want to do life together. We want to help our staff understand that we're going to take care of you. If there's a situation you have to deal with at home, we'll figure out a way to help you with that. And you can take care of that because you can't be in the classroom at 100% when you have all these issues somewhere else. And a lot of times we spend more time with each other than we do at home. And so we're all become one big family, and we're all going to take care of each other. And that's the bottom line. We're all going to take care of each other because our students depend on us. We have 49,000 kids that need us. And if not us, then who?
Right.
And that's a responsibility I gladly take.
Phenomenal. Well, on that note, thank you so much. We appreciate you, Dr. Nivens. Thank you so much for your time. Much continued success to you, your staff, and of course, the students. We want to wish them a productive and successful school year, that's for sure. And thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm Mia Gradney with another installment of your Superintendent Talk series.